Okay, thanks a lot, guys. Greg Limke joins me now. 10-point deficit, start second half. What'd you talk about at halftime, Coach?
Well, we got to be aggressive, and we're not attacking right now. And that's what we got to take care of, especially on the offensive end. We're very passive right now. Offensively,
you like that slower down tempo, but do they have to pick it up a little bit?
Yeah, we do. We got to speed it up and attack when we got the opportunity and take it at them.
You've been down before. I mean, 3 overtimes last night. What do you think? Tonight you got another one in you?
We're all right. We held it at 10 right now. We've got a chance. That's all we asked for.
Okay, thanks, Greg.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John Hagry, and that concludes the North Dakota Farmers Union Insurance halftime report. We're getting ready for the second half. A 10-point Grand Forks Central lead, 29-19, here in the Magic City of Minot, North Dakota, where they have hosted a ton of tournaments. And as a matter of fact, just glancing through the statistics here the last couple of days, nobody has been in more state tournaments than the Minot High Magicians.
Well, I would love to have been in that Mandan locker room. I assume it was very intense. Just before we went to John Hagry there, Limke really shaking his head, telling his kids to stay out on the floor and take some warm-up shots because they stayed in the locker room about a minute past the allotted time at halftime.
Bullis working it around for the Mandan Braves. He gets it up on top to Eric Schmidt. Schmidt guarded by Greg Mask. Schmidt out to Pullis. Pullis drives baseline. It is knocked away, I believe, by Tremaine Davis, but they're going to say that Tremaine got a hand on him. So Pullis will go to the free throw line for the Mandan Braves, and it's kind of interesting to note this is the first trip for anybody from the Mandan Braves to the free throw line. It's also Tremaine Davis's first foul in this contest.
Sam Pullis, one of the better free throw shooters for the Braves, 73% from the stripe.
He showed it last night, didn't he? Great second half for Sam Pullis last evening, and he nails his first try at the free throw line.
Just a junior, but trying to play catch-up. Missed most of the first half of the season with a broken leg he sustained as the starting quarterback for the Braves football team.
And you'd never know he was hurt. He's really recovered well from that. Mandan with a, not really what you'd call a press. Just kind of watch. Oh, here comes the press. They're going to do a half-court press on Grand Forks Central when they can. It's an 8-point lead for Central, 29-21. Greg Mask. Looks like Mandan's going to try to pick up the pressure a little bit. Tipped away, but recovered by Tremaine Davis. Joe Ford, he's double covered. Dishes off. This is Tremaine Davis with the jumper, and he nails it. Tremaine Davis with his 6th point of the ball game.
Good recognition by Ford. It looked like he was really looking to call his own number, but it just wasn't there. So we found the nearest available option.
Quick feed inside to Scott Tom, and that's how fast Mandan can turn things around. Quick feed into Scott Tom. He's got 6 points. Mandan with that press. Greg Mask will bring it across the timeline. Nice ball handling by Greg Mask. Gets it over to Brooks Bullinger. To Mask. Mandan in the zone. Joe Ford drives baseline, puts it up, won't go. Scott Tom pulls down the rebound, and it looks like Scott Tom is trying to assert himself a little bit more. Feed into Tom. That won't fall. Greg Mask ends up with the ball. He'll bring it across for Central Knights. He feeds it into Ford, who goes to the hoop, and he scores.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Dan, coming out in the second half, man, I don't know if it was the 3 overtimes last night or if Grand Forks is just a quicker team, but Mandan really looks a step slow right now. On defense, they're playing catch-up, and that last time down the floor, Eric Schmidt really laboring getting back.
I want to belabor the point, but again, a triple overtime game last night that kept the kids up way late, as a matter of fact. Call a double dribble, and it'll go back to Grand Forks Central. So you might think that Mandan just a little winded from that. And, you know, when you're on the road, you're excited, you're playing in the state tournament, you move to the semifinals. I can't imagine that they're getting a lot of quality sleep.
Well, and your legs are the first thing to go, and that's what it seems like. It just seems like they're a step slow, and they're still playing that press. You know, it'll be interesting to see how long they stay with this, because that's only going to make you, it's going to make you work harder on defense.
Mass stuck up on top. Gets it to Bollinger. 33-23. 10-point lead for Grand Forks Central. We're in the third quarter. Overson throws it up. Whistle. And he's going to go to the free throw line to shoot 2. Foul, I believe, is going to be called.
Right here, just finding the seams in that zone, and that was Eric Schmidt coming over, so he's got 3 fouls now. Once again, he is playing in foul trouble.
A real competitor And Mark Hoverson, who shoots, as you see, 52% from the floor. Hoverson, a real tough competitor. You can see the biceps on the young man.
Hit a couple of clutch free throws yesterday with the game on the line against Williston, and it was Chad Kalile of the Williston Coyotes who gave him credit. He said the difference in the game was when Kalile had him, he made one-on-one, and Hoverson made both of them.
Jeff Getz into the contest for the first time for the Mandan Braves as Chad Kincaid will sit down. Hoverson's second one is good, and we're going to take a break with 5:31 to go in the third quarter. Grand Forks Central now with a 12-point lead over Mandan. Back with more on the North Dakota NBC Television Network. Back at the Minot State Dome, Dan, you brought up a great point during our break here.
Well, you call it a great point, but we'll see.
Okay.
I would, we talked about how they're tired, and I think the people on the Mandan side would deny it, but they just look a step slow on defense. And right now, when you're down and Grand Forks threatening to run away with this, I would call off the dogs, call off the press, let your kids play zone. It's your best defense anyway, and let those legs rest because you're going to need that on offense trying to come back from a 12-point deficit.
We'll see if your coaching is picked up by osmosis by Mr. Limke.
Well, I'm undefeated in my lifetime.
Is that right?
I've never lost a basketball game as a head coach.
You're 0-0, yeah. Whistle. It's going to be on Brooks Bollinger, number 20. That's his third personal foul. He's the only member of the Central Knights that's in any kind of foul trouble, and he leaves the contest. And into the ball game is John Hager for him for Grand Forks Central. 35-23, 12-point lead for Grand Forks Central. 5:17 to go in the third. Our second semifinal. The winner of this one takes on Minot for all the marbles. Pullis from the baseline for three.
And he's the guy you got to get going if you're playing from behind. He's the guy that's got to crank it up. He's your only perimeter threat. Scripted it perfectly.
Could have been a foul on Pullis there, but the refs decided to let him play, which I really admire. I think the refs have done a great job here at this tournament. Overson back to Max.
Knights haven't looked at Joe Ford recently. I think even if he's not taking the shots, you got to work the ball through his hands. Keep Mandan honest.
Almost stolen away by Mandan's number 24, Jeff Getz. Knocked out of bounds, and Central will set it up again. 4:40 to go in the third. There you see the back of Scott Tom. Well, when Tom wants to set it, when Tom wants to get it going, he's virtually unstoppable. Blocking foul going to be called on the Mandan Braves. That's Mike Auk. Auk will pick up his first personal foul. Mandan only has Eric Schmidt to really worry about foul trouble. The 6'1" junior has 3 personals. Mask with the ball, playing a little catch with Joe Ford, trying to work it around this zone defense. It's a tough, pesky zone defense that Central's had trouble trying to crack sometimes. Tremaine Davis on the baseline. Back to Joe Ford, back to Davis. Double team. Joe will take it into the paint. Dishes off to Tremaine. Tremaine goes up, and it's good.
And Scott Tom, lucky he didn't get a foul there. Got him off his feet again. Davis has been able to do that.
Little trouble. And there's a whistle. There's going to be a foul.
And boy, I thought that was going to go the other way too. Schmidt just lowered his shoulder there, and that would have been his 4th, but goes the other way.
John Hager picks up his second personal foul. And there you see Mr. Hager getting a few words from Todd Olson, who's done a fantastic job. We were talking about Todd last night. Todd, great basketball player in his own right. 2-time All-District 12 player from Mayville State. In fact, North Dakota's Mr. Basketball from Cavalier in 1986. Now doing a great job coaching. 3-point attempt by Mandan won't go. Fight for the rebound between Tom and Tremaine. Whistle underneath. Ball's going to go against Grand Forks Central. And Tremaine Davis doesn't agree with the call.
Well, Jeff Getz with the 3. I don't think that's what Greg Limke wants, averaging just 1.5 points off the bench, but Tom keeps it alive. Great jumping ability.
They called the foul on Greg Mask. It's his first personal. 14 fouls now for Grand Forks Central. Big shot by Pullis. Sam Pullis. Another tray. He's got 3. There's a whistle against Mandan. And we've got a timeout. With 3:40 to go in the third. Grand Forks Central on top of Mandan by 9. We'll be back with more on the North Dakota NBC Television Network in just a moment. young man with my hairline.
I was going to say, looks like a little Dan Michaels. The baby cam. Hey, he's a ham.
Stay tuned for your local news tonight along the Meyer Television Network, and these games will be recapped in your specific market. Johnny Cole out in Williston, Rory Hintz down in Bismarck, Mandan. Here in town, Jim Fuchuk will have the sports, and in Fargo, Chad Kraft will be doing the sports tonight on KVLY. Oh, Tremaine has it taken right out of his hands by Scott Tom, and it's a great time for Mandan to make a run down by 9. They can get closer than they've been for quite a while if they can score
Central,
here.
yeah. Central lost sight of Sam Pullis.
Pullis off the back of the rim, and they'll get another try. Mike Hawk trying to set things up. Jeff Getz.
But Pullis is there. The Knights just are not. They're losing track of Sam Pullis. He is able to work himself open. He was there again. Now he'll go baseline.
Kincaid to Getz. Kincaid drives the paint, gets it knocked away, fight for the ball, and Mandan comes up with it. Pullis will put it up, won't fall, on a huge rebound by Joe Ford. Ford, a 6'3" senior forward for Todd Olson's Knights. Greg Mass going to slow it down. Thought about driving in the paint, gets double teamed, he's in trouble. Dishes it off. Shot up won't go by John Hager. And they're going to... Did he step out of bounds? Is that what they're going to say?
Yeah, that's what they called. Had nobody around him.
Scott Tom, the free spirit for the Mandan Braves. When he turns it on, he's almost unstoppable. There's the dish into Tremaine. Greg Mass.
And back in a man-to-man, but Schmidt on the bench with his 3 fouls.
Joe Ford has it knocked away. This is Bollinger. And it's just about stolen away by Chad Kincaid.
Great play, anticipated it perfectly, just dribbled it off his foot. So Mandan doing a better job on defense now with their best defensive player, Eric Schmidt, on the bench as Greg Lemke protects him with the 3 fouls.
And Todd Olson notices the change in momentum and wants to take a timeout. So with 2:12 to go in the third, Central still leads by 9. We'll be back with more on the North Dakota NBC Television Network. Back at the Minot State Dome, an update from Fargo. North Dakota State University with 7 minutes to go at the North Central Regional in Fargo. North Dakota State University 54, Minnesota Duluth 38. Amy Rulli going for her 4th straight national championship and her 5th in her career. Back to action here. Mandan, great steal. Sam Pullis, who just keeps pulling them out of his hat. With the steal, under 2 minutes to go in the third. Mandan trying to set things up. Mike Hawk has the ball. He works it down to big Eric Schmidt.
Schmidt back in the game. Remember, he's got those 3 fouls on him. They need to get out of this third quarter without him picking up his 4th.
Pullis from the baseline won't go. Big rebound by Tremaine Davis.
Boy, the Knights are leaving Pullis open. He's missed 3 threes in the last couple of trips down the floor. They have to feel real good. He hasn't hit one of those, but they're not challenging him on the perimeter.
Central now trying to work it around. Drive to the baseline. Shot up by Hager. Won't go. Foul called underneath, though. Foul is called underneath on the Mandan Braves. Let's check out who it's going to be called on. Foul's called on number 22, Sam Pullis, his first personal foul. As far as foul trouble goes, Brooks Bollinger has 3 personal fouls for Grand Forks Central. Kincaid has 3 for Mandan, as does Eric Schmidt. To the free throw line is number 22 for Grand Forks Central. John Hager is 6'2". Senior guard Scott Tom gonna go get some air. There's a nice look at John Hager. His first one rolls around and drops in. That's his first point of the contest. Makes it a 10-point contest, 38-28, Central over Mandan with 1:18 to go in the third. Central been in charge of this one pretty much the whole way, although Mandan having a pretty good third quarter. Bollinger into the game, and Hager will sit down after popping those 2. And Central, smelling blood, sets up that press.
Well, the difficult thing for Mandan, it seems like they have to expend so much energy to cut into the lead, and then they cut it to 9, they cut it to 7, and then all of a sudden, the Knights sneak it back up to 11.
Fight for it underneath. Comes up Sam Polis there again with the great rebound. And Tremaine, there's the steal up ahead to Hoverson. Hoverson gets hacked. Eric Schmidt picks up his 4th personal foul. And Mark Hoverson will go to the free throw line. Here's the replay, Dan.
Let's get a look at this. Schmidt, he's not even thinking about how many fouls he has on him. Yeah, he got him on the left arm. Looked like all pumpkin to the naked eye, but
all pumpkin?
All orange. But he got him on the arm.
You know, you haven't said blow the bunny yet, though. Well, I'm waiting for you to say blow the bunny. Hoverson, the man at the free throw line for the most for either team tonight. He's 4 for 6. Make that 5 for 7 from the free throw line, and it's 41-28. Under a minute to play in the 3rd quarter. And Hoverson flying around. A little smile on his face. He knocked it out of bounds. It'll go back to Mandan. And there's the final for the UND, as we mentioned earlier, 68-55, the final. The Sioux continue on, and we hope it's going to be a rematch between the Fighting Sioux and the Thundering Herd for the North Central Regional Championship. That game played tomorrow at the Bison Sports Arena. The men are also on the road at Hayes, Kansas for the North Central Regional.
Grays are lost right now. They're starting to shake their heads a little bit. Greg Limke has to be concerned with that. He's got to really get them together after the quarter break here and just assure them that there's still a chance to win this basketball game.
Asking some kind of trouble up top, and they're going to call a foul. Foul is called on Mike Ock. That'll be the 6th team foul for the Mandan Braves. Ock's 2nd personal foul. So Central will take it out, but they'll go to the bonus. They'll go to the free throw line from now on. Any more fouls in the 2nd half. Joe Ford will throw it in for the Central Knights. And they'll try to set things up. They're obviously going for the final shot with under 20 seconds to go in the 3rd. Mask again to Ford. And you can hear their coach, Todd Olson. Now he's saying, go, 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 go. Inside to Tremaine off the glass. And Tremaine Davis nails his 10th point of the contest. 3, 2, 1. There's the end of the 3rd quarter. Grand Forks Central out in front of Mandan, 43-28. And we'll be back with the 4th quarter of this 2nd semifinal in just a moment on the North Dakota NBC Television Network.
Welcome back to the MSU Dome. Well, Mandan has some pretty good top recruits here doing their statistics. State champions, and all 3 of these girls coming back. Steph Bailey, Wendy Davis, and Jay Amundsen. You having fun?
Yeah.
I suppose you'd like the score to be a little different.
Yeah, I like Mandan to be ahead, but...
Is it hard doing stats? You know, you guys play a lot.
No, it's not that hard. It's pretty easy.
No, I mean, is it hard for you to sit here and take this stuff down when you'd rather be out playing?
Yeah, I would rather play, but that's right.
Not too bad, huh? You get that enough of that during the year. Jay, would you like to be out there right now?
Yeah, especially before the game. I get too nervous sitting here. I'd rather be playing.
So these girls would like to get out there, but for now they're going to be doing the stats. State champion 1995 girls. They'll all be back next year too. Let's go back to the game.
Thanks a lot, John. And of course, her dad is Greg Amundsen, who is an assistant coach for the boys basketball team. Driving the paint by Hoverson, and there's a whistle before that. Shot won't count. Foul is going to be called on the Mandan Braves. 22. Sam Polis, he picks up his 2nd personal.
A couple of things to look for here in the 4th quarter. First of all, Eric Schmidt, of course, the leader for the Mandan Braves. He has 4 fouls. His next one will put him on the bench. He fouled out last night as well. But if you're Grand Forks Central, you got to expect that Mandan will make at least one more run. They're going to make one final charge at you. If you can weather that, you're playing for the title tomorrow night.
Okay. Mandan on the fast break. Won't go. Whistle underneath against Grand Forks Central. We'll see who the foul's on. Falls on number 12, Greg Mask, his 2nd personal. That's the 5th team foul. They'll take it out of bounds. Central now in the bonus, as Mandan has 17 fouls. Michael Locke playing catch with Sam Polis. Over to Kincaid. Kincaid with 3 fouls. That's Eric Schmidt, who's got the 4 fouls. He's got to be careful. Feed inside to Scott Tom. He attracts a crowd. Eric Schmidt thundering through the paint.
How did he get that pass off?
Beautiful play by the Mandan Braves.
Triple teamed and falling down, but he still saw Eric Schmidt. I think he was just hoping. It was like in hockey where you center a pass in front of the goal, just hoping someone was streaking down the middle.
Joe Ford from three-point land, and look out. Joe Ford, great three-pointer. It's 46-30, a 16-point lead for Grand Forks Central. And there's a whistle. Brooks Bollinger picks up his fourth personal foul, and suddenly Brooks Bollinger's in foul trouble, so he'll sit down. John Hager will come back into the game. And he'll work against Scott Tom in that press. Hawk gets the ball, tries to bring it up. They get it to the middle, and they break that central press. Thrown up ahead to Kincaid, drives the lane, and he scores. Chad Kincaid with his first points of the ball game. And it's 46-32, 14-point lead for Grand Forks Central. Across the timeline to Hager. Hager to Tremaine Davis, who's played well in the corner. Davis tried to drive the lane. He lost it. Recovered again, though, by Hager, and he gets it out to Mask, and let's try it again.
Same situation for the Braves. They got back into it in the third quarter when they did call off the press and got their legs back under them a little bit. But now they're going to have to press for the remainder of this game, and I just don't know if they have enough left to overcome a 16-point deficit.
Feed inside to Mark. Bollinger doesn't take it. Back out on top to Ford, who's feeling it. Joe Ford is feeling it. He nails the three, and it's 49-32.
13 points for Joe Ford, and nothing can stem any kind of momentum or put a nail in a coffin more than a three-pointer can.
Oh, Overson with the hack. I believe it was Mark Overson, but he's got a few to spare. Overson was only one foul before that.
You know, the three-pointer new to our generation, but such a part of the game now in high school basketball. The difference in the second half, really, when Mandan had cut it to 7 points, on one possession, Sam Pullis got 2 looks at a three, and then another look the next time down, missed all 3. Now Joe Ford hits 2 back-to-back, and they're putting this one out of reach.
Overson with 2 fouls now, and to the free throw line is Sam Pullis. He hits that one. Both teams now in the bonus. And into the ball game for the Mandan Braves, number 32, Casey Meitinger. We haven't seen too much of Casey throughout this tournament so far.
Tough call for Casey last night. Didn't play at all in regulation, and then when Schmidt fouled out in the first overtime, Greg Limke looked down the bench and said, Casey, get in the ball game.
And Greg Mask brings it up with 6 minutes to play in the ball game. He's going to drive the paint, whistle before he gets there, and they're going to call a foul on Mandan as Mask was trying to drive the paint. Foul is called on 22, Sam Pullis. That's his 3rd personal foul. So Kincaid and Pullis have 3. Eric Schmidt has 4. And Greg Mask goes to the free throw line. Well-rounded Grand Forks Central Knights. They average 4 players in double figures, and 4 players dominate the boards for Grand Forks Central. So real great team approach. Mr. Mask nails that free throw, and he is perfect from the line, 4 for 4.
Well, coming up after the game, another quandary for us. The American Dairy Association Player of the Game will be named, and we're going to have to start that discussion soon because it's going to be a tough choice.
And we're taking a break with under 6 minutes to play in the ball game. Central on top of Mandan, 51-33, and we'll be back with more in just a moment. Back at the Dome. And you can see the tartan surface here at the Dome, which they don't want anymore. I talked to Fran Hummel, who is the athletic director at Minot State and also the Dome manager for this tournament, and he says that by next August there will be a wood floor in here. They have a little more funds to come up with first, but next year Minot State will be playing with a wood floor here at the Dome, and boy, they really need one.
Well, and of course, the big rumor right now is that negotiations are underway to bring LSU and Indiana up here. Dale Brown wants to christen the floor with a big-time college basketball game.
Basket by number 23, TJ Swisher into the ball game for Mandan. Yeah, that is a strong rumor, and as a matter of fact, the AD brought that up with me today as well, saying that if they get that game, some of the funds raised from having that game here will go to pay for that floor. 53-35, Central on top. Shot by Tom won't go. Rebound by Tremaine Davis. He gets it to Greg Mask, and he gets pushed out of bounds by Sam Pullis, who's going to pick up his 4th personal foul. And the crowd starting to filter out here at the Minot State Dome, as it's starting to look like the Grand Forks Central Knights are going to take on the Minot Magicians for the North Dakota Class A championship tomorrow night. Championship game at 7:45 statewide on NBC. As you get a good look at Coach Lemke there. And another one of the spectators here.
Well, Mandan just has the look right now of a beaten team. They're exhausted mentally, maybe more than physically. And, you know, this is disappointing. They've had a great run the last couple of weeks, an improbable run. Nobody had them even getting here. But, you know, this is something to build on. They've got some juniors coming back, and Pullis and Schmidt next year, Shane Avey. So this is the kind of thing that will linger as you try to build a program, and they got a chance to play for 3rd place tomorrow night.
Against a tough Shanley Deacons team.
That'll give us 2 East-West matchups tomorrow night as well.
The bet feed inside. And before Lance Geigel has a chance to go up for it, there's a whistle underneath against Grand Forks Central. 4:48 to go in the contest. 53-35. Central on top of Mandan. Foul was called on Hoverson. He picks up his 3rd personal foul. And going to the free throw line is Lance Geigel. Geigel, a 6'1" senior forward. You see his averages there. Geigel can't make the first of that, but a rebound by Pullis. Turns around and puts it up, whistle underneath, and I think he's going to go to the free throw line. So Sam Pullis, who's been to the free throw line a couple times tonight, will return. And Dennis Wyman, the big unit, just hands me the final. How about this, everybody? North Dakota State over Denver. 71-70 at the North Central Regional in Hayes, Kansas. Congratulations to Tommy Billiter and the entire Bison crew.
That's a big win. That Denver University going to go Division I here in the near future, and they actually have 3 Division I transfers who started for their basketball team. A big win for the Bison.
Tell you what, nice putback by Eric Schmidt. And it's 53-38. Not a lot of people thought the Bison men's team was going to be made of a lot of stuff midway through the season, but they really put it together. Dennis is at their 6th or 7th straight win. Seventh straight win for the Bison men towards the end of the season. John Hager puts the shot up off the glass for Grand Forks Central. Hager's first field goal of the evening for Grand Forks Central. 55-38. 4 minutes. Coming down to the 4-minute mark in the game. Shot by Schmidt. It's an air ball, but picked up there by Geigel. Tried to go back up with it. Whistle underneath. And I think this is going to be the 3rd straight Grand Forks Central foul. Ball is on number 34, Mark Hoverson. Suddenly Hoverson is in some kind of danger. He's got 4 personal fouls. And a familiar figure back at the free throw line in Lance Geigel. Geigel didn't make the first one of his 1-and-1 last time. He'll shoot 2 this time. That one rolls around and falls in. Brooks Bollinger, who has 4 personal fouls as well, goes in for Hoverson. Chad Kincaid comes back into the contest for the Mandan Braves.
Eric Schmidt sits down. He was really frustrated that last 3-point miss. Emphatically trying to get the referee to agree with him that he was hit on the arm. Of course, he wasn't going to win that battle.
Kind of like arguing with Judge Wapner. Not going to get it done. Oh, and a hack from behind on Mandan. They'll call that on number 23, TJ Swisher. Swisher will pick up his first personal foul. And both teams in the bonus, so things will slow down a little bit as Greg Mask will go to the free throw line.
We can start looking ahead to tomorrow night. Of course, Grand Forks Central, if they hold on, will play Minot, the #1 team in the state. Grand Forks Central, though, ranked #2 in the state just about all year long. And then so you get the 2 #1 seeds against each other. It's probably the final everyone was looking towards. And
some confusion at the bench. Official goes over to check it out. Don't know if it's a point deal or a time thing.
By the way, Grand Forks Central and Minot met earlier this season. And Minot, of course, undefeated, won that game, but only by 11 points.
So tomorrow, 1:30, Bismarck will meet Devils Lake for the consolation championship as Greg Mass goes to the free throw line. Shanley will probably beat Mandan for the third place game, 6 o'clock. Remember now, our coverage will start early tomorrow at 6 o'clock statewide on the Meyer Broadcasting Network. Steal by Joe Ford. Grand Forks Central on the break, gets it up ahead to Greg Mask, who goes in, and he's hacked. Foul on Casey Meininger. He'll pick up his first personal foul. It'll be a 2-shot trip to the free throw line.
Now Joe Ford has done just about all of it. It's funny, he's quiet, and then he comes back in a storm. That time a little no-look. A little bit of no-look there. He doesn't get many chances to run the break as a point guard.
Razzle-dazzle.
That time the two of them kind of trading jobs there.
So there's Mr. Mask. We talked about him every Friday night during the fall. Great running back for the Knights. He nails that one. He's perfect from the free throw line, according to my unofficial stats. Do you have him for that too, Dan?
I do.
How about that? There's his first miss from the free throw line tonight. Rebound by Mandan. That's Dan Turnus into the game now, number 21. Getting some substitutions in there for Mandan, trying to keep those legs fresh for that third place game. Greg Mask, he pushes it up ahead. This is Johnny Hager, and ba-boom. Hager with his second field goal. He has got 6 points. Mandan's going to take a timeout. We'll do the same with 3:22 to go in the contest. It's a 20-point lead for Grand Forks Central, 60-40, and we'll be back with more on the North Dakota NBC Television Network. You know, some people should be really careful with their hair, because I've been saying this for years now, but sometimes it doesn't come back when you cut it off.
Well, you know, it's interesting. The guy in the Hawaiian shirt, the nerds are getting a lot more stylish these days with the mohawk.
There's the final. The Bison women over Duluth, 72-52. Another rematch, the third time this year. The Bison and the Sioux women will square off at the North Central Regional Championship. It'll be tomorrow night at the Bison Sports Arena. Mandan trying to work it around. Couple of fresh legs in there. P.J. Swisher, air ball won't go, whistle underneath.
Well, that's a lot of pressure on a kid to have a last name, Swisher, when you play basketball.
Well, okay, that's true.
You know, I think Greg Limke called that timeout. Obviously, the chances of Mandan coming back from 20 points down with 3 minutes left to win are very slim. But I think he just wanted to tell him, hey, we don't want to see anybody quit. I don't want to see a single one of you quit out here. And now Todd Olson pulling out his starters, letting them get the hand they deserve.
Tremaine Davis sits down to a standing ovation from the Grand Forks Central crowd. Into the ball game. We'll try to keep up to date on these substitutions. Number 52 is Kelly Nelson. He's into the contest. Let's see who else is in this game now. John Hager sits down. Joe Ford at the free throw line.
Probably see David Dubuque. Yeah, he's in there. He's got all his senior reserves in there. Get them a little time in their last season in a state tournament.
What do you suppose Dubuque's nickname is?
Iowa?
That's what I was going to say. Here comes Mandan. Under 3 minutes to go in the contest. Stay tuned for your local news along the statewide North Dakota NBC television network. Whistle away from the ball underneath.
Now this could get a little ragged here. The Knights have emptied their bench, except Mask and Ford are still in there, but all the seniors are off the bench.
52 Kelly Nelson is called for the foul. 6'4" senior center. I don't know about your anchors in Bismarck, Dan, but Carly Johnson, Robin Humer, they love these extra games when games go over past 10 o'clock.
It's kind of interesting. The Knights have put all their seniors in for the state experience in their final year. Greg Limke has unloaded his bench with all of his youthful players that will be back next season. In fact, the foul right there being called on Todd Bauer, the tallest player on the roster for Mandan. He's 6'5", only a sophomore, so he figures into the future plans, and Greg Limke figures he can get him a couple of minutes of experience here.
And there's a good look at Kelly Nelson, a 6'4" senior center. Big smile as he sees the red light come on the camera there. And just like that, hey, hey, hey. big, rousing round of applause. A standing ovation is number 32. Joe Ford, the 6'3" senior, sits down.
I've got him 15 points. He hit 3 threes. 2 of them were huge when Mandan had cut the lead to single digits in the third quarter. He hit 2 straight threes, and that's what really decided the basketball game.
Bullinger, now Greg Mass going to sit down. Into the game is Mark Fetch, number 42. And back to the free throw line, Kelly Nelson with his second one. That won't go. Rebound Mandan. And the Braves will bring it up with 2.5 minutes to go. Turned into kind of a JV game. Both teams resting their starters. They got more important things to do tomorrow.
Let's give credit to all the Braves that are on the floor right now. Only one senior, Casey Meidinger, and then Todd Bauer, Jeff Getz, TJ Swisher, Dan Turnus, all of them underclassmen.
And, you know, there is no substitution for experience, especially at a state tournament. So both coaches really pleased to be able to get these guys in and get some tournament experience.
TJ Swisher. Has not been able to live up to that name here, but obviously a very tough situation for him.
Sweet turnaround won't go, but a rejected. That's number 32, Casey Meidinger.
Well, immediately I assumed it was Todd Bauer because it seemed like he was up there. Look at Meidinger come across from the weak side.
Chris Gowan, that's a pretty move by Gowan, but he gets it knocked away by Meidinger. Fight for the ball. Central comes up with it. That's Mark Fetch, number 42. Feeds inside of number 40, Casey Blue. Won't go, and here comes Mandan. Trying to catch up with these numbers, Jeff Getz.
Hey!
Beautiful shot by Dan Turnus. He gets the 3. 62-43 with under 2 minutes to go in the contest.
Watching the Braves practice this week too in preparation for state, you see these guys scrimmaging against each other, and these are good young players. They haven't played a lot this year because of the top 7 or the leaders, but boy, I'll tell you, these guys are lighting it up.
David Dubuque from downtown Iowa. That doesn't make sense.
Oh!
These guys are starting to light it up. Getz with the tray. And they're playing awful hard. They're trying to impress the coach. They're saying we belong in this contest.
Well, the varsity game won by Grand Forks Central, but right now the Mandan JV out on top.
These guys are playing awful hard. Number 13 is Chris Gowan for Grand Forks Central. He gives it up to David Dubuque. Shot up there by Mark Fetch, won't go. And there's a whistle underneath.
Now this is fun. You know, no matter what happens with these kids in the future, they'll always have this to look back on, and they can stick the tape in the VCR. And Dan Turnus can look at his 3, and David Dubuque can look at his 3.
Kelly Nelson picks up his second personal foul, number 52, the 6'4" senior. And to the free throw line for Mandan Braves is number 23, TJ Swisher, who will try to swish a few through.
Well, tomorrow night, Grand Forks against Minot for the state title, and we have seen Minot be vulnerable in this tournament in the first quarter. And Grand Forks Central, certainly a team that has come out strong in both of their games in this tournament. Both yesterday against Williston and then again here today, shooting very hot in the first quarter, so maybe a real good matchup here. And we were talking to some coaches today about how do you beat Minot, and one of them told us, well, you just need to find a team that matches up well with them. And maybe Grand Forks is one that can do that. Obviously, they can't match the height inside from Kenny Younger, but they shoot the ball well enough, and they're so athletic that they might present a real challenge tomorrow, I think, for the matchup.
You got to go give a little credit again to Wapenen, who gave Minot everything they wanted with Hunter Rinke in the middle last night. To the free throw line for Grand Forks Central is David Dubuque.
You know, this afternoon, too, that game was so important to Wapenen, and they came out with so much intensity, had Minot tied after 3 quarters, and today lost to a Bismarck team that looked to be outmanned, but it just seemed like Wapenen just had so much taken out of them from that matchup yesterday.
Fight underneath for the ball. Mandan comes up with it. And they bring it across the timeline as we approach the 1 minute mark left in the contest. Drive in the paint, won't go. Everybody hits the floor hard. Foul is called, and we'll walk this way, as every foul, of course, will. Oh, I guess it was not. Was it a foul? Yes, it was an offensive foul. There won't be any shooting on the offensive foul. So with 1 minute even to go in the contest, 64-46 Central. And they'll bring it across. Feed down. Number 40. That's Casey Blue. He puts it up from the baseline. Won't go. And another foul called. And so, as Aerosmith once said, we'll walk this way. Or was it Igor who said, walk this way?
Actually, it's a multiple choice answer, all of the above.
Okay.
Todd Bauer steps to the line, the 6'5" sophomore. Will get a chance to get his name in the score column.
He won't get that one, but he gets another shot at it, as both teams are in the double bonus with multiple fouls.
Todd Bauer, a slight 6'5", will no doubt spend the offseason trying to load up on as many calories as possible in anticipation of his junior season. Nice pass from Dan Turnitz.
I can show him how to do that if he needs any help. Casey Meininger gets the bucket. And here comes Grand Forks Central.
I've been impressed with Dan Turnitz in his limited stint here with 3 minutes left in the game. Good-looking point guard prospect for next year for the Braves.
Won't go. Rebound by big number 52, Kelly Nelson. There's another whistle. They're going to say it's traveling, and we'll go back to Mandan. 21 seconds to go in the contest. Look at Mr. Lemke. Greg Lemke in his second year at Mandan. 11 and 12 coming into this game. They'll go to 11 and 13. 15 seconds to go. Baseline jumper won't go. Rebound by Mandan, knocked away by Grand Forks Central. Mandan will retain possession with under 11 seconds to play. Stay tuned for your local news coming up at the conclusion of this contest. Baseline jumper, in and out won't go. Mandan controlling the boards. Finally, Grand Forks Central gets one. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. David Dubuque throws it up, and it won't go. And your final score: Grand Forks Central 64, Mandan 48. And Grand Forks Central will take on the Minot Magicians for the championship of North Dakota Class A basketball tomorrow night. Dennis Wyman is with Tremaine Davis. Dennis.
All right, guys, I'm here with Tremaine Davis. And Tremaine, you got on him right away. You never let the Cinderella have a shot against you.
That's right. We knew we could beat them from the beginning. They gave up a close game against Devil's Lake, and Devil's Lake always troubled us, but we did what we had to do. He told us from the beginning we was going to have to box out and account for their physical bitterness than us, and we just came out and did what we had to do.
And obviously, you got the tempo you wanted in this game.
Yes, we did. We knew if we ran an up-and-down game and didn't let them play like they wanted to, as long as we was running the speed, we would win this ball game and win it kind of handily.
All right, congratulations. Let's get Greg Maskin here. Greg, congratulations on the win.
Thanks.
How big is this? You got to share the East Region regular season title. You won the East Region postseason tournament. Now you get a shot at the state tournament.
Well, we're looking forward to this. This was our goal at the beginning of the year. We're right where we want to be. We're going to go get it.
Obviously, you wanted an up-tempo to this game.
Yeah, we watched them last game, and, they kind of stalled. They getting their offense, and we wanted to up the tempo a little bit.
Okay, thanks a lot, Greg. We'll go over to John Hagery now.
Thanks, Dennis. Eric Schmidt joins me now. Eric, I thought you guys left a lot of motion on the court last night, but you came out and fought hard tonight.
Yeah, we just didn't have it tonight. I don't know, last night we played pretty hard, and we got down right away today, and nobody was playing. I mean, there was no intensity between any of the players, and once we got down 10, we tried to come back, and they hit a couple threes and took everything away from us.
Sure you want to come out and go for third place tomorrow?
Yeah, a week ago we were 6th in WDA, so if we get third, that'd be pretty good, I think.
Thanks a lot, Eric.
Yep.
Thanks, John Hagery. We'll take a break, and we'll be back. We'll wrap it all up in just a moment. Grand Forks Central over Mandan, 64-48.
Meet more of this from the MSU Dome. It's the 1996 Boys Class A High School Basketball Tournament.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Magic City and the Minot State Dome for championship night of the 1996 Class A Boys Basketball Tournament.